Welcome back to the Cabral House Call. I'm Steve Cabral, board-certified naturopathic doctor, and today on our Best of the Best Friday review, we are taking your questions. So last topic, last conversation, the Cabral concept, we spoke about how to never suffer from jet lag again, and I even went into how to reset your circadian rhythm for better overall sleep. So definitely worth checking out. Great episode, and let me know what you think. So let's get right into our questions today. We do have three very diverse, very different ones. And I love that. I love covering so many different topics. A lot of people, mentors of mine have said you should really specialize in one area. You should only be talking about one type of medicine. And here's the thing. I got into this strictly to help people. And if I kind of corner myself into doing just one topic, I feel like not only is that not great for other people, since I've done the research on so many different topics, and the body doesn't work like that. It works in synergies and it works as balancing systems. How can I only talk about one thing? So, and it also keeps me just invigorated, keeps me interested every single day because I'm always reading books every single week. And just, even if I've read the same topic 100 times, I'm picking up just one little tidbit here and there. And those are things that I love to share with you, and they get me excited myself. So let's get right into it. First question is from Angela M. Thank you for emailing us in today. She said, I have cancer and I want to use a natural medicine approach. Where should I start? So when you do have cancer, and we do offer cancer support here at my institute in Boston, is that you have to go in with the full protocol. You cannot just use natural medicine and just say, well, I'm going to try a little bit of this and a little bit of that. You have to be either fully committed or not, because it's just going to take a concerted effort on no matter what you're doing. Sometimes a combination approach, sometimes just natural medicine. It's just whatever you want to do. We're here to support you with that. That's how my Wellness Institute works. So what I tell people to do is start just gathering information. Start to see what's out there. And so when you look at all of these different therapies, and I have massive books, like well over, I'd say 3,000, 4,000 pages of information that I've just gone through personally on cancer, is start to look at a few books on cancer, like maybe it's the Gerson Institute or Gerson Method, or maybe it's Nicholas Gonzalez or Donald William Kelly, whoever it might be, and you'll see that they're using enzymes. You'll see that they're using coffee enema, that they're using massive detoxification. They're getting the liver functioning properly. They're using green juices. It's like, okay, everyone does that, so that's probably smart. We should probably do that because it's working. But then let's get deeper into it. Let's look at whether it's a soft cancer or hard cancer, as we call it in natural medicine. And there's different approaches for that. Let's see what the body's deficient in. Let's see what it's toxic in. Obviously we need to get it detoxified, right? That to me seems really straightforward. So we need to do detoxification. Absolutely begin a detoxification in my protocol, unless you're doing a therapy that's contraindicated for that. And then start to look at some amazing websites out there. I believe the site is called Cancer Tutor. I really hope that I got that one right, that I'm not giving you misinformation on that, but I believe that is the name of it. I'm actually going to look it up because it's very important to me that I'm giving you that proper information. And start to look at their articles because it's very, very in-depth. And I like people to just start there. So it's called cancertutor.com. And their tagline is the future of cancer research. So they're not just looking at a few common things like, oh, well, I did this for this specific thing, and that means everybody should do it. But no, it's looking at all of these different methodologies and why they might work for you, different stages of cancer, different therapies. Start to research and look at websites like that. And then along with a functional medicine doctor, naturopathic doctor, health practitioner, or maybe you can't afford it. Maybe you're just doing it on your own from all the research that you gathered. That's great as well. You need to start someplace and you need to gather as much information as you can, but also just get started as soon as possible. Start doing your detoxification right away. Start doing your green juices right away. Start doing your supplementation with what you're deficient in right away. Start doing your, whether you want to do the dry brush and the coffee enemas, the saunas and all of that. Start somewhere while you're doing the research because you can't wait. All right. And Angela, I do hope that answers your question and gives you a great place to start. Baxter is up next. What is Baxter asking today? He's asking, do you recommend vitamin D even in the summer? Okay, good question. Let me see if I can look back in our notes on the website. It's just stephencabral.com/podcast to see previous episodes. So it looks like I spoke about vitamin D on episode 42. So please look back to episode 42 and you will see a more in-depth talk on vitamin D But let me answer your question for you today. So no matter what, we'll always answer your questions. So yes, most people need vitamin D during the summer. They just need a smaller dosage. Why do I say that? Strictly because I look at lots of vitamin D levels. I mean, I would say I have everyone writing vitamin D, and I'm not sure anyone does that in Massachusetts, but it's so vitally important for anti-cancer, which we just answered the last question. So Angela, you should be doing your lab testing as well to see what you're deficient in. It's good for weight loss. It's good for obviously anti-aging based purposes, overall immunity. So as I've said before, only about 5 to 10% of the people in the summertime come back with optimal vitamin D. And that's within 50 to 70 nanograms per milliliter, not down near 30. That's not optimal. It just means you're like not diseased. You're not deficient in it. So you do want to see if you're within that range. If you're in your 80s on the lab test, you can just cut back on vitamin D. I typically have people on somewhere between 2,000 and 5,000 IUs during the winter, of course, based on their lab tests. And then I bring them back to 1,000 or 2,000 during the summertime, again, based on their needs. So again, I'd say just test yourself during the summer. And the other thing too is most people are like, oh, well, I'm getting sunshine during the summer. Technically, yes, but to really raise vitamin D levels, you need at least 3 to 4 days per week. And you need full body sun for about 15 to 20 minutes. Again, depending on your skin color as well. If you're fair skinned, well, you only need 15 minutes or so. But if you're darker skinned, you need more sun. That's just how it works. So what I would say is also determine that based on your individual needs. All right, Baxter, I hope that answered your question. Now let's get into Francine's question. She is asking, my daughter gets a rash on her face later in the day, almost every day. Could it be food related? All right, so let's get to Francine's question and answer. Is your daughter's rash related to food? Highly likely, I would say, very highly likely. And the reason I would say that is because more times than not in my practice, I've seen it be a very specific food sensitivity, and the food sensitivity could be having IgE or IgG-based food sensitivity. So, easy thing to do is have your daughter tested for food sensitivities. You can do an at-home blood test. Literally, all you do is you do a little poke on your daughter's finger, and you fill 5 spots on a card with just little blood drops. That will give you the information in about 3 to 4 weeks of what foods your daughter's sensitive to. Now, keep in mind that most people are sensitive to 3 or 4 different foods. I mean, that's just the average I've seen on doing hundreds of these tests, literally hundreds. So it could absolutely be that. What I would say is if you don't have the finances to be able to test, is the next best thing is you can do a normal elimination for kids with food sensitivities, with skin rashes, with allergies, with asthma, and that's eliminating gluten, yeast, nuts, dairy, soy, and corn. And usually eggs. I'm going to add eggs as well. And the reason is more times than not, I've seen egg whites be sensitive for kids. Now, obviously that's a big elimination, right? And you might not feel comfortable eliminating all of those things from your children's diet. So simply eliminate one of those per week. Just to recap, gluten, dairy, soy, corn, nuts, eggs. Eliminate one at a time, one for the whole week. That nuts includes nut butters, things like that, and see if it gets better that week. And then you might have found your culprit, or simply do the food sensitivity test as well. So, Francine, I can't recommend it enough that it is most likely food-based. Now, it could be other things. Don't get me wrong. It could be environmental. Like maybe it's the detergent you're washing her clothes in, and she's rubbing up against it. Maybe it is that detergent, and her pillow or her sheets are now aggravating her. It could be that as well. It could be environmental. So what I would say is, we just have to narrow it down, right? And how do we narrow it down? Well, let's just start with, could be food, and let's check that out. And then maybe switch to a detergent that's a little bit more natural, like one of the, I think it's like 7th generation, or one of the ones with no fragrances, no dyes, no anything. And then you just took out 2 of those factors. So that's how I work in my own practice, Francine. That's what I do for my own family, my brothers, my sister, and their kids as well. I look at their kids' food sensitivities whenever their children have had kind of the rashes on their face. And all the kids with ADD, ADHD, autism in my practice as well. And it's pervasive. It is what it is, because people react to certain foods as almost like a foreign pathogen in their body. They're reacting to the protein, and that's an issue. This goes beyond the sugar in the food. It actually reacts typically with the protein. So, Francine, I hope that answers your question, and please let me know if you do have any follow-ups to that. Thank you again for tuning into the Cabral House Call. As a thank you for tuning in today, I wanted to share with you the number one system my private clients in Boston and now all over the United States are using to lose weight, decrease bloating, improve digestion, eliminate skin issues, and increase their energy all day long. It's called the Dr. Cabral Detox, and without going into all the details right now, simply go to drcabraldetox.com and you can find out how my proven, simple 7-day system can help you lose weight and feel great. There's no hype, there's no marketing, and best of all, it's guaranteed or your money back. And as a thank you for being a listener of the Cabral Concepts, I'd like to offer you $10 off your next 7, 14, or 21-day Dr. Cabral Detox purchase in the month of March. Simply enter the savings code MARCH10, all in lowercase, one word, when checking out. Thank you again for tuning in, and I look forward to hearing your success story soon.